Gentleman yields. The gentlewoman from Georgia, Ms. Williams, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Muser and Ranking Member Green. Under former HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge, y'all HUD's mission was very clear: create strong, sustainable, inclusive communities and quality, affordable homes for all. So I'm curious today, exactly what part of that mission statement are President Trump and his billionaire buddy against? Let's start with the part about building strong, sustainable, inclusive communities. How is Trump and Musk building on this with firing so many HUD staff that it can't even carry out its statutory requirements? Trump and Musk are illegally firing hundreds of HUD staff, including Trump's own former HUD Inspector General, and closing critically needed field offices. All of this is happening when I know, just as my Republican colleagues know, just as our witness said today, that we still face a housing affordability and availability crisis in this country. Y'all, this isn't about cutting waste, because that's something that we can all agree on. You should see how I pinch a penny in my monthly budget. My husband will let you know, and my son, who wants to shop all the time, but we just can't. So we get that. This is about destroying and dismantling HUD while our communities back home are left to suffer these disastrous decisions of Trump and Musk that my Republican colleagues are enabling. This is the exact opposite of what HUD was doing under the leadership of Democratic former Secretary Marcia Fudge. So, how about the next part of HUD's former mission statement? Creating quality, affordable homes for all. With the reckless Trump tariffs, taxing hard-working Americans and massive cuts to federal housing, the Trump-Musk administration is making housing even more unaffordable for folks back home while giving tax cuts to billionaires. The bottom line is Trump is prioritizing his billionaire buddies and personal vendettas over what's right for the household budgets of hard-working American families. To sum it all up, Trump and Musk are on the track to widen the racial wealth gap and increase housing insecurity for families and communities across the country that we were all sent here to represent. And the only way that we're gonna stop this is stop them from making American families pay for billionaire tax cuts is if we expose them. And then together, Democrats and Republicans must demand better from our government. So let's do that today. Mr. Begg, Elon Musk and Doge gain access to the personal confidential data of the American people through government databases. Doge gained access to HUD's enforcement management system, which contains medical records, financial files, social security numbers, medical details, and the addresses of domestic violence survivors. What controls does HUD have in place to protect the data of the people of America from private entities seeking to exploit the data for their own personal and private gain?
Thank you for the question. In general, the data that you're mentioning is protected from improper disclosure under the Privacy Act. That's the primary legal control in place. HUD has a number of information security controls within its information security program that are designed to ensure that that information is not improperly released.
Mr. Begg, who is enforcing that?
That would be the Chief Information Officer.
And do you have safeguards in place? Have you been aware that this data is being secured by the Chief Information Officer?
We do an annual review of their information security program.
So that has not yet been done since January 20th?
It's ongoing. So it would be, our review would include and it would look to identify any improper disclosures or removals of information from HUD systems.
So that's just one of the many concerns that I'm hearing about from constituents back home since January 20th. Another concern that I'm hearing a lot about is cancel HUD contracts. The city of Atlanta, which is in my district, has one of the widest racial wealth gaps in the country, and many of my constituents rely on HUD to help them just get a jump start. Mr. Begg, there are multiple fair housing advocates in my district, all of whom have shared concerns about Doge's cuts at the Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity. One example is the Fair Housing Initiative Program's grant termination. On the night of February 27, 2025, HUD sent notices terminating 78 grant contracts effective immediately. These canceled contracts severely impacted communities in their long-time work to enforce the Fair Housing Act, protecting seniors, veterans, survivors of domestic violence, families with children, people of color and faith, LGBTQ+ individuals, underserved rural communities, and other people who've been victims of housing discrimination. Mr. Beck, can you speak to the contracts, agreements, or activities relating to fair housing that have been canceled or being considered for cancellation?
The cancellations are currently subject of litigation, and so what we're doing right now is monitoring the litigation to see what the outcome would be.
Mr. Beck, I'm sorry, my time has expired, but I would love an answer to this in writing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.